Hey guys, how's it going? It's Bill Wick here. I haven't done a video for a while, so I just wanted to tune in with you. I'm enjoying this beautiful storm right now, sitting out in my porch. And, I was sitting here and I was thinking about how peaceful this is, how peaceful this storm is. And I got into a thought about how a lot of times storms can be very powerful. They can burn down forests. They have winds that, can knock off roofs, that can cause destruction. But at the same time, storms also provide, water for the plants and the trees, which in turn provide oxygen for us. They're necessary, they're useful, and they can be beautiful to observe. If I were outside right now, I would not be enjoying the storm. And when we're in the storm and we don't have protection or a shelter over our heads, then it's extremely painful when we are in the midst of that storm. But when we're observing a storm in our center, in a place of security and peace of mind, then it can be extremely beautiful. And I'm talking about the storms that ebb and flow through our lives, not just the physical storms. What is happening to a lot of people I've noticed lately is it's like a forest fire, where the lightning will strike a tree, and that tree will then burn down, thousands of acres of forest. And the evolutionary purpose of this, I believe, and science will vouch for this, is that all these trees are being burnt down, everything is pummeled to the ground so that new life can emerge. When there's a new paradigm that's emerging in our world today. First, the destruction has to happen, the storm has to come through and create the changes that it is intended to create. Now, one thing I want to piggyback back off of as well is the concept of freedom, and how essentially, if you study evolution, even all the way back to the amoeba or the small parasite, evolution is, in a sense, for the sole purpose of generating more freedom, especially with humanity. I mean, we as human beings evolve towards freedom. And when our freedom is taken from us, then the evolution continues to push through that so that we can find a greater peace and a greater freedom. So essentially, when these forest fires happen in our lives, when we go through crises and different things, a lot of times it's a golden opportunity, if we take it, to begin creating new life, new ways of being, new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing the world, stepping out of the limited beliefs that continue to shackle us in guilt and shame and make the world seem boring and minuscule. This is all perception. This can be shifted to where we can see things differently. Now, the difficult thing with conscious manifestation is a lot of times we don't see the manifestation in our external lives immediately. For example, you can shift your perspective to something that is more invigorating and exciting to you on a certain component of your reality. But simply by shifting that perspective, you'll generate the feelings as if you've actually created something in the outside world, but the outside world needs to catch up. There's a delay, in this reality, in this third dimension that we're in. And the awesome thing is that when we shift our perception, if we hold that with unwavering faith, then the manifestations, which I know every single one of you has experienced, they become apparent in your outside world. Relationships, career, self-growth, development. All of these things become apparent in your outside world if you hold steadfast to that shift in perception and don't fall back into the mediocrity of the old perception that kept you shackled in that vibration. So in a sense, it really is all conceived in the mind. Everything that you see in this material world was conceived in the imagination as a single thought before it came to fruition and manifested in a car, a table, what have you. It all began in the mind. And that's extremely powerful. So I believe that what we're seeing today with the economy and some of the world events parallels the spiritual awakening that we're going through, in terms of human beings. And what I believe we're seeing is the old systems that lack integrity are falling, and they're falling fast because we're moving into a new age. Whether you like to look at astrology, we're moving from Pisces to Aquarius. Whether you're a Christian and the book of Revelations, we're moving into the new earth. Whether you're a Buddhist, and, they all piggyback off the same thing. We're going through a paradigm shift, and because that, shitty systems that bind humanity in scarcity and lack, systems that seek to manipulate and control humanity are going to crash. This includes the economy. This is one of those systems. The central bankers, the Federal Reserve, people that profit from the loss of wealth from the majority of society. Those types of systems are included. It's not all just about this etheric spiritual thing. There's substance to it. So you will watch, the dollar continue to collapse, especially with things in Iraq heating up. And, all of this is part of the process. It's all exciting. I'm not a gloom and doomer. I don't see us starving. I don't see our food being rationed. I don't see, martial law really having any type of powerful effect. And with that being said, I'm not a gloom and doomer. I'm looking at reality. I'm not speaking opinions here. I'm speaking about the value of the U.S. dollar. Go online and research it. I'm speaking about the hyperinflation that we're about to go through. And I'm speaking about this system desperately in need of a paradigm shift, and the people that are in charge of it completely and deliberately refusing to let go of the old system, and therefore it is going to undergo a drastic reform. And I couldn't tell you how that's going to happen or when that's going to happen. I can tell you that it is happening now, and it's going to continue to snowball. So in terms of these forest fires, just as our fiat currency is undergoing right now, the currency that isn't backed by anything with any value other than the word of the government, as we continue to see alliances being formed in Germany and other countries against the U.S. dollar, then you can see that really it's not necessarily a gloom and doom more than it is, okay, our fiat currency isn't working, the debt that we have as a country, let alone as personal consumers, is completely unsustainable. It's time to undergo a paradigm shift in the financial monetary system, in the spiritual system, in all the systems that no longer serve the highest good of humanity. That's all I got, guys. Love you. Peace.